Today we're going to be wire wrapping these crescent moon crystals, and we're doing it two different ways. So this one here got the points pointing downwards, so we're wrapping that with a bail in the middle, and then this other one is just with a crescent moon shape. So we've got our two crystals here, both just crescent moon cabs, and we've got 20 gauge dead soft silver wire, and we're going to start with this crescent moon, wrapping this one upright. This one here needs about 10 inches of our wire. And to start with, we need to make our bail, which goes at the top to string the crystal. So just wrapping it around our round pliers and just leaving a little point at the end so that that can stay straight. So we wrap it around twice. We want a loop that's strong enough to hang on a necklace. So once it's around twice, we're just going to bend this little piece of wire back around the other piece of wire. So that sort of locks it in place. So you just want to make sure that that's crimped down nice and tight and not poking out. Now just get that other piece of wire coming down straight. Then just straighten up your loops, make sure you are happy with them, they're sort of tucked together. So that's the way our crystal is going to be hanging with that little bail at the top. Now I am a bit of a weirdo and I find it really hard to grip the crystal and the wire at the same time, so I put a glove on, and I just find it gives me extra traction to be able to hold on to the wire, because it can be a bit tricky while you're holding on to both. So you want to make sure your bail sits over the middle at the top, so you're just bending it a little bit when it's side on. Then we need to make sure that the base of our crystal has a loop around this point to hold it in place. So I just sort of maneuver my wire and then bending the wire around the back of the crystal and then bringing it around the front so that it's got a loop there holding that bottom point in place. Once you've got that bottom loop, you just wrap it around the crystal again another 2 times. So pulling it nice and tight. That was another one, and then this is the last one. Just bending that and pulling it around the back and then up to the bail. So quick check just to make sure you're happy with all your wires and they're nice and tight, and then we're just going to wrap this wire around the bottom of the bail just to secure that crystal in place. So nice and tight, and then you can finish it off with your pliers. If you've got a little end, just snip that off, and then with your pliers just make sure that that end is tucked in nice and tight. So your crystal should be not moving at all, and if it does have any movement or the wire feels a bit loose, you can just gently twist that bail a little bit. So at this point you can work with the wires a little bit with your pliers and just kind of move them into position. Moving on to this crystal now, so this is the one that we're wrapping with the points pointing downwards. For this one we need about 13 inches. It's a little bit longer than the other one. First thing again is just making our bail. So just starting with wrapping it around our pliers, wrapping it around 2 times, leaving that little tail at the start just so that we can wrap that around our other piece of wire. Sorry we go off screen a little bit, but hopefully you can see now what we're doing. Then just using your pliers, bring that little piece of wire around the other wire and clamp it down. Just make sure it's nice and tight, so that's going to secure your bail. Then you can just fix your loops, make sure you're happy with them and they're sitting nicely. So this one's going to hang this way, so we do the same thing where we bend it a little bit across the crystal so that when it's side on, it's in the middle. So the first wrap around the crystal we do in the center. Bend it around. Okay, so the first one goes on this left hand side, but we're pulling it to the right. Okay, and this one comes up the right hand side, but we're pulling it to the left. So can you see? So this one's up the left, but I'm pulling it back towards the right, back towards the center. And this one up the right, but pulling it back towards the center as well. And then this last one just comes up the middle and meets up with the bail. And then just wrapping around the base of the bail as well. So this one, because of the shape of it and because, you know, we don't want any movement in that crystal, I find that's the easiest way, is having it pulled in a way that the wire can sort of hold the crystal in place. I find if you don't do it this way, the crystal has movement and it can just fall out both sides because it's bigger in the middle. It's really hard to get that crystal not to move. So just manoeuvring your wires till you're happy with them, and make sure the wire ending is tucked in. Twist your bail a little bit and then just check that your loops at the top are how you want them. Each crystal is unique and each wire wrap is always a little bit different, but that's kind of what makes them so special. And there's our crescent moon crystal cabs, wire wrapped in 2 ways.